My name is Ciara and I'm a consciousness catalyst and spiritual mentor for wayshowers and visionaries. I am so happy to have you tune in today to listen to me here, and I'm very excited to speak to you about this subject, which I feel is something that will really speak to many of you who may listen to this. I'd like to speak today about how you don't have to be perfect. You just have to begin somewhere. And the reason that I would like to speak about this subject is because I speak to so many beautiful beings, many of whom are my wonderful clients, who feel so caught up in fear to just come forward, step forward, and begin to bring themselves and all that they have to offer as beings, their gifts and their abilities, their creative potential, and so much more into the world because they stall, thinking that they need to somehow reach this mythical place of perfection before they can just begin, before they can just start being themselves in a more full way and assisting others in the process. The search for perfection as a static thing is so futile. And the reason for that is because life is perpetually unfolding, perpetually changing, perpetually renewing itself, mystically speaking. Our existence is like a flower that continuously blossoms and blooms into ever more full and ever more beautiful and ever more refined versions of itself. There will never be perfection as a static concept in any real sense. Rather, perfection is the fullness that we bring to every single moment. For you to just show up authentically and be as you are in the moment, from your heart, showing up as who you are in any given moment, with sincerity, with authenticity, with the intimacy of an open heart, is in itself perfection. It's the perfection of the very moment that you are in. The process of refinement will be never ending, and so it should be, because if it wasn't, we would have nothing really to live for. There would be no adventure to life. There would be nothing to attempt to excel at. There would be nothing to attempt to achieve. The quest for perfection as a static concept holds us back profoundly in life. If we can instead allow ourselves to simply be who and what we are in the moment and to recognize the perfection in that, it creates so much freedom. I spent literally years waiting and waiting and waiting until I finally felt perfect in certain ways before I would allow myself to express more fully in my life, causing myself great pain and great hardship in the process. In video, for example, I had the inspiration to start working with video for years, 3 to 5 years, I would say. I can't remember the exact figure. But for those at least 3 years, I kept having this sense within me of, soon I will be perfect and then I will be able to do it. I need to be perfect before I can do it. And after these 3 or 5 years had passed, I started to realize, wait a minute, this is a trap. I am waiting for a sense of perfection that is never going to come because I'm placing this mythical idea of perfection as something that will be attained somewhere in the future. And in that, failing to acknowledge the perfection of the moment, failing to acknowledge the perfection of being a beginner, failing to acknowledge the perfection and the beauty and actually the joy of the journey of getting to learn something from scratch and practice something from scratch, and the incredible sense of fulfillment that comes with ongoingly getting better at something just by practicing. If you look at musicians, there have been very, very few, perhaps less than a handful of musicians in all of recorded history who have picked up an instrument and just instantly been good at playing an instrument. Perhaps there have been a few prodigies and musical geniuses throughout time who have a natural talent for an instrument, for example. But every other musician spends years and years and years honing their craft, perfecting their craft through practice. Most people, when they pick up an instrument, initially they sound awful. It sounds terrible. And we may be frustrated as a new musician, even listening to ourselves because it's so bad. But if we were to put that down and we were to say, I'm not even going to try until I'm perfect, perfect never comes. Truly, perfection is the perfection of trying our absolute best in the moment. And so what I'm getting at here with this is the following. Don't allow yourself to be held back in life while waiting for mythical perfection to present itself to you, because it will never come. Just try. Just begin. Allow yourself to be a beginner. Allow yourself the journey of being terrible at something to begin with. Allow yourself the journey of exploration, of making mistakes, of recognizing the perfection in that journey, the perfection in the mistakes, and not even mistakes, because it's a learning process. Simply begin somewhere. If you've been holding yourself back in any way in your life when it comes to fuller expression because you feel that you're not perfect enough yet, I encourage you to consider that the very moment that you begin just trying, just showing up as the true, authentic, real you, and giving it your very best shot in the moment that you're in now, your entire reality will begin to shift for you. To give another example of this, I was attempting right now to record some videos for my website that I've been meaning to do for a while. And as often happens when I sit down to record a video, unless I have something scripted in advance, which is very rare, I prefer to talk in a more authentic way if I possibly can. I often feel a great deal of frustration when I come to record a video, and many content creators will recognize this phenomenon. It usually takes many takes to get something right, and it's the rare occasion that you get it right on first shot if you're trying to convey a particular message and you want it to be very specific, unless you have a script, as I say. So I was attempting to record some information for my website and was very frustrated that I was just not managing to get it the way that I wanted to. And I said, you know what? I'm not quite managing what I want to do right now. However, I know there are other things that I can just begin with now. And I had on my list of content that I wanted to create a video on this topic that I'm speaking to you about now. So I knew that I could just show up authentically as I am in this moment and speak to you authentically about my experience in this as well. And that I would be able to do that in perfection in the moment. And next time I do a video, I will improve even more, and even more, and even more, and even more. When I first started recording videos, it was embarrassing to see what I'd created because it was so crude. But just like the musician who wants to learn an instrument, I really learned to acknowledge and honor the process of trying. Many people have grand visions in life, but so few actually try. So few actually persevere with their trying and their practice through the inevitable challenges, through the inevitable difficulties, through the inevitable frustrations, and the inevitable feeling that we're just not getting it quite right. I promise you, if you show up and you simply try, if you begin somewhere, begin from where you are, doesn't matter how crude it is. If your recording equipment is of very poor quality, doesn't matter. Just show up and begin. Show up and begin somewhere, and from there, the next steps that will take you to the next level of refinement in your perpetually unfolding journey, the flower of your existence, will unfold themselves in front of you. I hope that this video has helped you if you've been stalling in allowing yourself to express more fully while waiting for the mythical idea of perfection to arrive, and encourages you to just give it a shot. Just begin. Just start somewhere. Just try. You're perfect as you are in this moment. Allow yourself the gift of recognizing that. Thank you for listening, and much love.